At the beginning of your lifting journey, you are primed to make the fastest muscle and strength gains of your life. So it's important that you act accordingly and capitalize on this situation. So a lot of guys get tricked into thinking that their goal physique, the physique that they dream of, is going to come when they prioritize getting lean. Getting lean is when you're going to look your best. There is some truth to this statement. You are going to look your best when you're at a lower body fat percentage. But there is a big caveat to this. And the caveat is that yes, you're going to look your best when you're lean, but when you have a lot of muscle mass, this is going to require you to bulk. So if you guys are unaware, throughout my childhood, I was always the fat kid. I was always overweight, right? So come 12 years old, I decided to get into fitness. I started researching dieting, nutrition, training. And so I decided that the best course of action would be to hop on a cut and prioritize being lean, because I was so traumatized throughout my childhood of being fat that I didn't even care about the muscle. I just wanted to be skinny. I just didn't want to have that fat on me. So for the first couple of years of my lifting career, my fitness journey, I decided to focus on being really, really lean. So what happened was that, I decided to embark on this cut. By the end of it, I was like, okay, I have 5 more pounds left of fat. Okay, I got to cut off this little bit of man tits I have, this little bit of stomach fat, and then we're going to start bulking. Then we're going to start putting on this muscle and strength. I would tell myself, 5 pounds. 5 pounds, that's it. Then we're going to start bulking. And so I would lose the 5 pounds and realize like, oh fuck, I don't look any better. And so I would tell myself, you know what? It's the next 5 more pounds. It's the next 5 pounds. That's when I'm going to look my best. So I cut the 5 pounds, and by the time you knew it, this cycle just continued, and I was borderline anorexic. I was like 115 pounds, and the funniest thing was that little layer of fat was still there. But the reality was that it wasn't a significant amount of fat. It just looked significant because I didn't have any muscle mass underneath. So the reality is, all you're doing when you decide to cut before you have a significant muscle and strength base is you're choosing to reveal the little muscle mass that you have. That's it. So this is why I'm very big on prioritized bulking as a natural lifter, especially early on. And you guys will see, I'll show you the photo. You guys probably see the photo that, how I looked when I was 13, 14, and I had prioritized being lean. But I was just I had this complete body dysmorphia situation because I didn't have any muscle mass underneath. I didn't look good. I just looked really, really skinny, but I still had that little bit of layer of fat. So even if you're someone who has a little bit of extra fat on you, you're skinny fat, you have excess fat, that fat is absolutely completely negligible. It's completely negligible. It only looks significant because you don't have any muscle and strength underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and say that unless you're obese, the best course of action is going to be to bulk. It's going to be to prioritize building your muscle and strength base. Because as I always say, I'm very big on prioritized bulking as a natural lifter, because the reason being is that cutting doesn't take long. And that's why I throw around this kind of 9-3 rule, which states that for 9 months of the year, you want to be bulking. And then for every 9 months, you've earned yourself a few months of cutting. And if you do this right, you're going to keep yourself in striking distance of your goal leanness, but you're going to be prioritizing the bulking process, which is absolutely the most important thing. You have to build your clay before you can shape it. The truth is that fat just doesn't take long to trim off. I'm embarking on a cut right now, and within 2 months, I'm going to be very, very lean. I'm going to be at my goal leanness. And that's the way you want to do things. You don't ever want to cut longer than 2 to 3 months. You want to prioritize muscle building because muscle building takes a long time. If you're a natural lifter, muscle building is going to be a longer process, and you have to accept that, and you have to act accordingly by prioritizing bulking. So unless you're obese, you want to always prioritize bulking. One of the biggest lies the fitness industry tries to shove down your throat is that you can gain significant muscle and strength without eating in a calorie surplus. And this is a concept called lean gains, the concept that you can eat around maintenance or just slightly above and put on a significant muscle and strength base. And that is complete and utter bullshit for 99% of the population. So unless you're on drugs, this is not going to be feasible. It's going to be a recipe for really, really, really slow gains. So there are actually a couple of instances where you can make lean gains and you can recomposition. And the 2 subsets of people who can actually make this happen are beginners and fat people. So if you are skinny fat, you can actually gain significant muscle and strength without eating in that big of a calorie surplus, because you still have a bit of excess energy stored as body fat. So you can just gain 1 to 2 pounds per month, eat in a small calorie surplus, and put on a lot of muscle and strength without gaining much body fat. What this is going to do is that you're going to keep around the same level of body fat that you have, but you're going to be putting on a significant amount of muscle and strength. So by the time you're at the end of this cycle, you're going to have a lot of muscle mass underneath the little bit of body fat that you have, and you're actually going to appear lean. lean because the body fat you have isn't significant. As I said, it just looks significant because you don't have any muscle mass. So if you're fat, on the other hand, it's very obvious why you'd be able to eat in a calorie deficit and be able to pack on significant muscle and strength. So fat people are in the prime position to recomposition. You can actually eat in a calorie deficit and put on muscle and strength at the same time and then end up looking very chiseled afterwards. You'll be able to pack on a lot of muscle and strength due to the excess energy that you have stored as body fat. So it's going to look really, really good. So this is why you're almost, unless you're obese, like I just said, you're almost always better off just prioritizing bulking. And if you're skinny, then I don't even know why you're watching this video, because it's very obvious that you need to pack on muscle and strength and prioritize bulking. But the reality is that most beginner lifters are in kind of that skinny fat position where they have a tiny bit of excess body fat. They look good with clothes on, they look lean, and they take the shirt off and they have a bit of man tits, a bit of stomach fat. And this person is always better off eating in a small calorie surplus and slowly bulking. This is going to be the best course of action. I fucking promise you, I'm talking from experience. If I could go back in time, this is what I would do, man. I fucked up majorly by prioritizing cutting because, you know, I pretty much wasted my noob gains. It took me a lot longer to make the gains that I could have made very quickly if I had just prioritized bulking. But I was stuck in that cutting mindset because of the fitness industry telling me you're gonna look your best when you're lean. It's like, yeah, you're gonna look your best when you're lean, but when you have a lot of fucking muscle, otherwise you're gonna look like a shrimp. All right, so that's ultimately the best course of action for you. So to drill this point home just a little bit further, I want you guys to understand that truly the root of your problem here has nothing really to do with the nutrition, with the dieting side of things. The biggest reason why you are where you are is because you are not strong enough yet on your lifts in the gym. The priority for you is going to be putting on the muscle and strength. It's getting your lifts up. You need to add, 50 to 100 pounds across all of your lifts. You need to prioritize getting strong, getting your squat, bench, deadlift, overhead press, weighted chin up, rows, dips. You need to get those all up. That is when you're gonna look your best. So the nutrition is just to support that primary goal. Because once your lifts are up, once you're getting strong, that is gonna be a strong correlation to the amount of lean muscle mass that you have on your frame. So ultimately, the most important thing is that you prioritize getting your lifts up. So you just have to remember that. You ultimately wanna do whatever you need to do to support that primary goal. And as I said, cutting is never really gonna be the best way to support that, because if you're a natural and you're prioritizing cutting, being lean all the time, it's gonna be really hard for you to put on muscle and strength in the gym. So at that state I was at when I was 13, 14, my lifts were shit. I was so obsessed with being lean, so obsessed with being cut, that I didn't realize that really the direct route to my success, to my goals, to the way I wanted to look was to get my lifts up, and I should have done whatever was needed to be able to do that. So if you guys want to figure out how to structure your training in such a way that's going to allow you to, sustain this nutrition plan, but then add muscle and strength in the gym, then you guys need to pick up my free 13-point natural muscle building checklist. This is going to give you everything you need to know, training related, nutrition related, in order to build your best physique as a natural lifter. I truly believe the people who do not have the information on this checklist, I don't even know what the fuck you're doing, to be honest with you, man. You're missing out on a lot of key information that, quite frankly, you're not going to find in the fitness industry anymore, because the fitness industry is filled with drug users, filled with fucking bullshit, and ultimately that's not what I'm about. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like and please subscribe if you did. Leave a comment letting me know what you thought, if this was valuable for you, and we will talk soon.